Peace of mind or piece of So this week we are going to be talking a little bit more into the hospitalization insurance. Hey, I thought we talked about this previously, and if you have not watched it, do watch the previous video over here. And yes, recently CNA invited Minister Ong Ye Kung, our health minister, to talk a little bit more about this underlying issue or what is he seeing. More importantly, is he trying to tell us to cancel our integrated shield plans? Let's find out in a short while. By the way, it's Jia Xuan here, your friendly money guy here from GWL to share with you more information about anything related to money. And just a heads up, only those who are responsible will watch till the end, and I hope you're one of them. So let's go into the topic right now. So in this video, I'll be dissecting what Minister Ong is talking about in this podcast and what it truly means for you. So firstly, why is there a focus onto the health insurance yet again? According to data, Minister Ong is saying that
last year, 100,000 people either drop their rider or downgrade their rider, which means you desire to have this, but in the end, you find that it's not worth it.
And in the eyes of Mr. Ong, this is a big problem. Here's why. Point number one, people with riders tends to claim 1.5 times more than people without claims. Wait a minute. Does that mean if I'm getting a health insurance by getting a rider, I'm actually cursing myself? No wonder so many elderlies choose not to go for insurance because they are superstitious. But actually, what's the problem? Isn't it a good thing that people are buying insurance and then they actually use it to deal with the situation rather than just let the illness build up and cause more problems in the later part of their life? Here comes the second part. And it is that people with rider tends to have a medical bills that is 1.5 times more than the people without. Long story short, cost of the insurance. What this means is to say that if you have a rider, you're going to claim more, and on top of that, your bills are going to be more. If you times these two amount together, you're going to be depleting the resources in the insurance pool. So let's understand a little bit about this insurance in a layman way. So how actually insurance work is like this. Think of yourself, and if you're just starting out in your journey, you probably don't have a lot of resources. I don't think you have enough to pay for a bill that costs you a few hundreds of thousands of dollars. And if that is the case, you're pretty much screwed. So this is where insurance comes in because it's a collective effort where everyone that wants to get protected, as long as you want to ensure that you have money to cover, you can join this pool. And this pool is the rainy day funds joint account. Not just between you and your partner, but with all of the other policy holders who wants to get the hospitalization insurance. Then the next part is how much do you contribute to this pool? Well, unlike some of your agreement where you split 50-50, this amount that you are putting into this joint account is actually determined by the insurance company. And the amount usually is dependent on your age as well as other factors. As I mentioned, this is a rainy day joint account. So in normal days when it's not raining, no one can touch this money. But then when one person in this whole pool is hospitalized, that's when you can use the payout that everyone have collectively gathered. So in other words, if you are hospitalized, other policy holders are kind of like paying for your bills, and by the time it's their turn, you pay for their bills. But with the statement that Minister Ong is saying, he is trying to say that in this rainy day funds, people who are contributing to it are actually going to claim more. They're going to take money from this pool. And not to mention, the people who are taking from this pool, they're taking a bigger amount. In other words, this pool is going to dry up much faster. And that is not going to be sustainable for the insurance company. This is not a good thing because a lot of the US insurance company are going bankrupt because of excessive claims. People are abusing on the terms and conditions and they are claiming more than they should. And because the insurers did not find a way to sustainably continue this business, that led to the pool being expanded too fast without finding new sources of replacements, and they have gone bankrupt. So that's why the insurers in Singapore, in order to stay afloat, be able to continue this business and not get bankrupt and affecting even more people, what they did is that they decided to increase the premium or the money you have to pay so that this pool continues to be big enough so that whatever reasons it doesn't get depleted too quickly. So this is the same with your money. If once you have your bank account, your income must be more than your expenses. If not, you'll be depleting your savings. And once that savings is depleted, you are going to be in much more trouble. So coming back, why did over 100,000 Singaporeans decided to downgrade or even remove their riders? Is because the cost of this insurance is getting more and more crazy and is out of whack. And these people who tends to drop out their riders are people who are in the older age, maybe in their late 60s or 70s. And for a 70-year-old, for the private wards, can cost up to $10,000 in a year. And so this leads me to the second point, how to know the insurance premium that you're paying makes sense to you. This is where Minister Ong comes in and share with us this matrix that he used, which is the claim to premium ratio.
You bought a private insurance, what we call integrated shield plan. What is your premium? About $4,000 when you are 70 years old. The payout is about, say, $18,000. Claim to premium ratio, 18 divided by 4 is about 4 point something.
Yeah.
It's also not bad.
So in his example, Mr. Ong is saying that based on the premiums that you're paying for, as well as the claims I'm going to be getting based on this procedure, after you divide it, maybe it makes sense because every $1 of premiums I'm paying, I'm getting maybe $2 to $3 worth of medical reimbursement. But this is not a good matrix to use. Why? Because end of the day, how do you know exactly what are the total procedures you're going to be doing? And on top of that, what are the total costs that these procedures will be costing you? You don't know because this is the unknown, right? This is the whole idea of insurance actually works. It's to cover our unknown. Into the unknown. Into the unknown. So if you ask me frankly, this metric is on hindsight. It's not foresight. But what we really want is the foresight, right? Not to mention the common response that people talk about is it worth it to get this insurance? Of course, if you're talking about making your money's worth, right, then maybe you should consider getting hospitalized as often as possible. That's why for hospitalization insurance, I always tell my clients it's never worth it. Yes, for you to get your money's worth, you are going to be in some big trouble or in some bad situation. And I bet if that day ever comes, you will not be happy that, yes, I'm getting my money's worth. So the focus is actually thinking about not going to that extent in the first place and never to look into my money's worth. What's more, hospitalization insurance is a form of reimbursement for the hospitalization bills you're getting. You actually don't get a single cent out of it, unlike your critical illness or your TPDs. By the way, if you're liking this video so far, do give it a like, subscribe us for more, and also share it with your friends. They will benefit from our content as well. Coming back, here's number 3 that was being talked about. So it's quite interesting that Minister Ong saying that
our data show, having bought riders, 50% of patients in the end up in public hospitals, subsidized wards. Yeah.
50% of the people with all these IPs or riders, they ended up going to public subsidized wards. What is this riders based on? Is it on your P plan, your A plan, your B1? Which one is it? So actually what I want to know is what is the base plan? Is it the private? Which I think so. And that means to say that out of 10 people who can stay in private ward, 5 people are choosing to stay with 6 to 8 people in the B2 to C ward. And is it a bad thing? I don't know. Normally, if everything is covered, people will be like, oh, because I'm in that bad situation, maybe I'm hospitalized, I'm doing a surgery, I would like to have a peace of mind that I have undisrupted rest during my stay. And that's why they prefer to stay in the A ward where it's just them in their own room. But recently I checked in and also asked one of my clients. Her reply wasn't what I have expected. Despite her having the budget, she actually told me that actually I don't want to stay in A ward. And I asked her what's the reason. She told me that, oh, it's because A ward is just one person. And yeah, I don't like to be alone in a hospital. That caught me off guard because firstly, I wasn't hospitalized before. And secondly, if you don't have somebody or a caretaker that is staying with you, this whole room have only you and silence. I cannot imagine people who are staying alone during the 7 month. That can be creepy. What Mr. Ong is also trying to highlight is that if you end up going to your B2 to see what, actually there's no need for you to get an IP because end of the day there's Medishield Life to do this for you. But what if Minister Ong's hidden agenda is to promote that Medishield Life is enough for you? There's no need for IPs. What's the catch here? Well, if more people goes to subsidized wards, the government is going to be subsidizing a lot of this cost for those who are eligible for it. And if the government is going to pay more, and guess where the government is going to get this money from? It's tapping into the government's resources for healthcare. And if this budget is being used up, what's next? well, they can always increase the GST. And Minister Ong actually wants this in the video.
Government will do our best. Yeah, make sure we have the resources. When we need to raise taxes, we tell you so because we need the tax revenue to expand the healthcare system.
So yes, the hospitalization insurance cost is getting higher and higher, and some people cannot pay for this anymore, which is why they dropped out of it. But let's talk about something that is not insurance for a short while. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever bought stuff that you don't actually need, like this, or even things like this that you don't have time to spend for? Or how about things that are so expensive that you shouldn't have gotten them in the first place? Like this? Whatever it is, end of the day, the reason is simple. No one has money for things that they don't want. In fact, most people have a lot of things that they don't have money for, but because they want it, they have money for it. And same goes for hospitalization insurance. Because they want to have the best care, they are willing to pay for this amount. But is this the best use of their money? I leave it up to you. Instead of just saying that, oh, the insurance side is so costly, and on top of that, I don't get back my money. Let's zoom out and look at things more holistically from the whole of your expenses. Where are you spending your money on? That is why we created an easy way for you to track your expenses and keep that good money expense tracking habit. Again, because I can tell you how important it is. So introducing Buddy! Buddy, your personal money butler that helps you to keep track of expenses. Gone are the days you're using your Excel, which is so troublesome, or even using things like your money tracking expense apps out there that have so many blanks for you to fill in. Now, with just one liner like McDonald's $10, and you don't even need to put a dollar sign, and moments later, your expense is tracked. If typing ain't your thing, how about taking a photo of your receipt? Or how about your monthly credit card bills? Just censor away the things that is confidential and just send it to Buddy. And best deal, it can understand your voice. So give it a voice message. Hello? And you'll do the same thing as well. So I'll put the link for GWL Buddy under the description box below. So click on it to try it out. It's free, by the way. And maybe we should get the finance minister to come up to do some TikTok videos on educational stuff that helps people to have good money habits, or maybe even promoting GWL Buddy for us. So at the end of the day, the health minister is not trying to dissuade you or encourage you to buy any integrated shield plans. I mean, although he did get private plans for himself and his family, that doesn't mean you should too. You should base on your budget and be mindful of the cost. So on the topic of cost, an interesting concept that was being mentioned.
So I think one way to unwind and untie this knot, I mentioned earlier, insurers should come out with alternate products that is lower tier. They don't cover up to the last dollar, don't cover deductibles, for example, have more co-payment.
I'm also looking forward to having these kind of new products outside by the insurers, but I'm really not sure if they will participate in this suggestion, because end of the day, insurance company needs to make sure that it is profitable or at least sustainable for them to continue doing this in the long run. So I'm really hoping that this day will come where there's a secondary product to do this, or even for like a private hospitalization. But with all of these things that is not something that I or you can control, how about let's focus a little bit on the things that we can control, and that is on our health. While I can't control what condition I'm born with, I can control what I eat, what I do, and my lifestyles. I believe the chances or the occurrence of us being ill is much lower. And definitely the critical illness that a lot of people are surfacing out might be prevented or even delayed to a later part of their life stages. So, if you are feeling unwell and of course you're feeling something out of the norm, do get yourself checked. Don't delay and wait until the thing escalates. So, recently, my wife had some chest pain and usually she'll just brush it off. I mean, I think I will too. But now that we have two kids, I don't want to try our luck because end of the day, getting checked early might save her life or in fact reduce a lot of the complications and deal with it early on is much easier than when you're dealing with something in a late stage. So luckily everything was fine and the peace of mind that we have now is worth paying for that $2,000, even though we cannot claim from the hospitalization insurance. But the good thing is that I know that at least she's safe lah. End of the day, prevention is still better than cure. Same thing for our finances. If we can prevent ourselves from reaching the stage where we are going to be worried about money in the next 30, 40 years, then we should definitely do something right now. So one last thing, I just want to congratulate you for staying through till the end, right? Because you are the responsible person that is trying to find out a little bit more about this topic. And hopefully this video have created some value for you. Do help me to like, subscribe, and follow us for more. And also comment below what are the other topics you would like me to cover, and I will do it for you. See you next time.